Now at 6, the latest from Washington, D.C. as the House and Senate pass a bill requiring the release of the Epstein files, while only one lawmaker voted no.
Portland police are searching for a suspect they say killed a teenager in a shooting in southeast Portland last week. What we know about the case coming up in a live report.
We, like you, do not want ICE to be operating in the city of Hillsborough.
Hillsborough city leaders have declared a state of emergency over the presence of ICE in the area.
And in Gresham, police are looking for this puppy they say was stolen during a robbery. The details on that story, plus more local headlines ahead as your news at sunrise starts right now.
Good morning, and thank you for joining us on your Wednesday. I'm China Green.
And I'm Joe Ranieri, filling in today for Drew Carney. But first, let's get a look at your local forecast with Rod Hill and the traffic with Chris McGinnis.
Yeah, we're starting off with the topic of fog and kind of what I refer to as rolling fog, because the visibility map just keeps kind of wandering back and forth. Now showing some dense fog crossing the Columbia River. Fog was dense up in Scappoose. Now visibility has improved. You can see 3/4 of a mile at the Pacific location there, and about a half a mile visibility being reported down in Salem. Here's Portland sky camera. So pretty good visibility down along the streets, but the low clouds certainly kissing the downtown cityscape. 38 degrees, that's a temperature with fog being reported out along the Columbia. And here's Salem, which actually is better than it was an hour ago. An hour ago, you couldn't see the Capitol at all. Now you can kind of make it out. Temperature in Salem also sitting in the 30s. So out the door, chilly morning, big coat weather, foggy conditions, partly sunny in Portland at noon, 46 degrees, and then cloudy skies but dry and about 52, and the kids are headed home later today. Here's Chris.
Rod, thanks for that. We pick it up with a traffic alert in Clackamas County. I want to take you down to Highway 213 north of Molalla right now. We're just getting word of a crash near Vic Road. That's milepost 15 that has the highway completely closed right now at this point. I'm working to get more details on that, but in terms of getting around this crash scene, South Molalla Avenue is going to be your best detour for now. Meanwhile, in the metro area, we've got a crash coming off the Markham Bridge. This is actually I-5 right near I-405, and you can see the southbound right lane tied up there with that. Looks like a car maybe spun sideways. No word on any injuries, but it does look like the volume's still pretty light on that side of town. To Rod's point about the fog, there you go. Salmon Creek, little foggy there. Oregon City, little foggy there as well, so watch out for that this morning. Guys, we'll keep you posted.
Thank you, Chris. We start your 6 o'clock hour with national news. Both the House and Senate have now passed a bill requiring the Justice Department to release all unclassified case files related to Jeffrey Epstein.
President Donald Trump says he plans to sign the bill into law despite months of calling the Epstein files a hoax. Only one member of both chambers voted no on the bill, arguing it didn't do enough to protect victims' identities. Yesterday, survivors who've been calling for the documents released for years celebrated and thanked lawmakers who've stood with them.
This is me. We have not been heard for so long, and I think the power of being heard and being recognized and being validated is incredibly healing.
The files are set to be released by the Justice Department within 30 days of President Trump signing the bill into law. Portland police are still looking for a suspect accused of shooting and killing a teen in Portland's Powellhurst-Gilbert neighborhood on Sunday.
Police identified the teen who was killed inside a home on Southeast 12th as 14-year-old Merrick Roscoe. Thomas Schultz joins us now from police headquarters in downtown Portland. Thomas, have police released any information about the suspects?
Well, guys, police say that they have identified some of the suspects, but they're not releasing any names right now. At the same time, they're also calling on community members to come forward and give any information that they may have about what happened here. On Sunday morning, police responded to a home on Southeast 125th. That's where they found 3 people with gunshot wounds. 2 were teenagers, a 17-year-old, along with a 14-year-old named Merrick Roscoe. A 19-year-old was also injured, but that was not by a gunshot wound. But police have been investigating this for quite some time since that Sunday morning incident. Here's a little bit more about what they said yesterday.
It appears that people knew each other. As we said, it's not random, so there does seem to be some awareness of people involved. There's really no words that can ease the pain. The loss of this 14-year-old boy is just really a lot to take in, and with his life ahead of him, just sort of compounds that sadness.
Once again, police are asking for the community's help as this investigation continues. They also say that since 2023, there's been 5 teens in Portland who have died from homicide violence. They are also working with community partners, the police is, to ensure that there's not any retaliation here. They say that, of course, could lead to more violence in the future. Of course, something that they're working hard to prevent. Guys.
Thomas, thank you. Meantime, Portland police are investigating 2 stabbings that happened just blocks apart in downtown Portland last night. This was a scene near Southwest Jefferson and 11. Police say that a man walked into a business around 9 to report he'd been stabbed. Authorities say he should be okay. A couple of hours earlier, about 4 blocks away, another man was stabbed in the South Park blocks. He was taken to the hospital with serious injuries. It's unclear if the stabbings are connected. Police said that they haven't made any arrests.
Thank you very much. The state of emergency declaration passes. Resolution number 2906 is adopted.
The city of Hillsborough is now under a state of emergency in response to federal immigration enforcement after dozens of ICE arrests have been made in the area. In the resolution, the city says it condemns ICE targeting students and families and calls for an immediate end to such actions. This comes after Victor Cruz, a Hillsborough grandfather, was taken into custody last month. His family says Cruz has a work authorization and that he was taken by mistake. Cruz was released from custody earlier this month.
We have new reaction this morning after the U.S. Border Patrol chief posted that authorities made more than 560 immigration-related arrests around Portland over last month.
They're calling it Operation Oregon Support Portland Sweep. The social media post included video that used a song from Sesame Street. It also highlighted unnamed people with the charges they face and their place of citizenship. Customs and Border Protection told us the arrests are a combined number by both CBP and ICE. They went on to say they're arresting people with criminal or immigration violations, though immigrant right group says that's not always true.
They are arresting people with work permits who are complying with the law, people who have lawfully filed for asylum, who are showing up for their appointments.
They're acting without any constitutional regards for people's rights. They're acting without oversight and accountability. So it's important that we keep that in mind and that we are really aware of what's going on around us.
Both Oregon for All and Innovation Law Lab, who you heard from there, describes those numbers as shocking and alarming.
For months, protesters have faced off with federal officers outside the ICE facility in Portland. Their frustration aimed at ICE, but it's not immigration enforcement that's responsible for securing that building. In a new KGW investigation, we are taking a closer look at the Federal Protective Service, a little-known federal agency with broad authority and a system that allows the Department of Homeland Security to pull in specially trained tactical teams to help police protesters.
It actually creates a lot of danger and conflict. And that results in the various sorts of civil rights abuses and aggressive policing that we're seeing.
So demonstrators accuse the officers of using excessive force and instigating confrontation. The federal government says it's simply protecting its property. You can find our full investigation on our website, KGW.com, and on our YouTube channel, KGW+. Gresham police are looking for this puppy they say was taken in a robbery. Her owner reports 4 strangers attacked him around 10:30 last night on West Powell near Main City Park. He says the suspects, 3 men and a woman, then put this 9-month-old German Shepherd mix named Shayla into a white Chevy Tahoe or a similar vehicle and took off. So if you know where the dog or the suspects are, call Gresham police. Devil Lewis Animal Hospital just got a major boost with an almost $3.5 million donation to support its stray and lost animal program.
The Portland-based hospital cares for about 1,000 injured or missing pets every single year. This donation comes from a pet owner whose cat went to Devil Lewis with a medical emergency and ended up spending its final moments there.
The donation is anonymous, but we know that this person came to Dove Lewis with their cat during a really scary emergency, and they were so appreciative of the care that they received here and so moved by it that they wanted to make sure that other people and other animals can benefit from the care as well.
Hospital leaders say the gift provides stability at a time when public funding for animal welfare is getting a little tighter, and it could help thousands of animals in the coming years.
Calling all Golden Girls fans, you now have a chance to step into the show at the Golden Girls pop-up in San Diego. You can take photos and replicas of iconic spots from the show like Blanche's room, the Linnae, and of course the kitchen. I'm not familiar with the show, so I don't know if I pronounced that right. But you can also get a themed cocktail and a slice of the girls' favorite cheesecake. Now we're talking the Golden Girls and cheesecake. There is nothing more raw.
I'm down. You know, Hallmark right now, China, is running the, Christmas movies. But when it's not running Christmas movies, it is running the Golden Girls.
Golden Girls.
About 7 o'clock at night if you want to, catch up and reminisce about the Golden Girls back in their heyday.
Great writing on the show.
Fantastic.
It really was.
I love about that show, it takes me back to when I was a kid, because if I ever stayed at my grandparents' house, either side of them, they had Golden Girls on Saturday night. And yeah, it just takes me back to a fun time when I was a kid watching that show.
And of course, they solved a lot of problems eating cheesecake around the kitchen table.
Don't forget, retiring in their mid-50s in Southern Florida, too. So not a bad gig.
Strangely, the house is located on one of the back lots in California. I actually saw the house on a studio tour. I don't remember what studio produced that show, but the house was in California. Show supposed to be in Miami, yeah. All right, here we go. We've got clouds spilling in to the western parts of both Oregon and Washington at this hour. A dry forecast for today, minus any mist with fog banks this morning. This has been a bright start to the day. This is mainly clear. Chinook Winds Casino Resort in Lincoln City. And with the mainly clear skies and fairly light winds, 39 is the temperature. Here's one of our cameras. At 1 second, you can't see the interstate bridge. The other second, there's almost no fog. This is as fog-free as I've seen this from the Vancouver waterfront, the springs at the waterfront looking at the interstate bridge. So that fog has really gotten out of there. And it was pretty foggy along here in the West Hills, our Oregon Zoo camera, but that's now lifted or cleared out somewhat as well. 38 degrees. Chilly start. Hillsboro's in the mid-30s. Battleground's freezing. So frosty. Oregon City has been freezing as well, so frosty, 33. And there's Sandy freezing at 31 degrees. 38 in Salem, 38 Aurora Canby, Estacada frosty at 30. So yeah, another chilly start like we had yesterday. All right, this afternoon we're dry. We've got cloudiness coming in from the west and thickening up. So a cloudy afternoon at the beach. Maybe only in the 40s in places like Albany and Salem where the fog may not break before clouds come in. So that would leave you overcast, partly sunny and in the 40s out east. So overall, pretty chilly kind of day. 52 in Portland. We've got the showers mainly tonight. It's very possible that 90% of the rain falls overnight tonight, with leaving Thursday to be fairly dry, and the weekend still looks pretty good. All right, Chris has a traffic alert.
Yeah, a pair of traffic alerts. I want to pick it up first off in Clackamas County with this serious crash on Highway 213 right now that has the road closed near milepost 15. That's Vic Road just north of Molalla. So your traffic solution around this is going to be Molalla Avenue. We're working to get more details on this crash, but again, Highway 213 right now, a no-go on the north side of Molalla. And on the south side of town here, I-405 southbound, a car has spun out and gone into the side there. We've got a number of police on the scene. So this is on the ramp from 405 south to I-5 south. Obviously, you can see light volume, so traffic is still getting around. But guys, we'll keep you posted on both of these crashes.
Thanks, Chris.